What's up everyone, it's time for another discussion video about Amphibia. This time it's new Wartwood and Frobo. Spoilers, as usual. The spoilers for this one aren't as significant as the past couple episodes, but still spoilers regardless. If you haven't seen the new episodes, watch those first, then watch this. Unless you don't care about spoilers, in which case, go right ahead and continue watching. I'm still recovering from the ending to the last episode, but yeah, that was something. Anyway, new Wartwood. It opens up with the planter house, and there's the flagon, and there's a sign that says Marcy is here, and she's sleeping there. Marcy's a little too enthusiastic for everyone, and they don't really like her at first. And Anne's like, don't worry, it took them a while to accept me. And Marcy's like, but they have like a riot with pitchforks and torches, and like Polly's there, and she's like, I go where the mob goes. And like that's all that Polly's in this episode, and Sprig and Hop Pop aren't in it at all. It's pretty much just an Anne and Marcy episode. Marcy accidentally knocks over a statue of the town's founder because, she's clumsy. But she's like, oh, don't worry, I can fix it, because she has this potion that, is adhesive and, attaches the statue back. And everyone's like, wow, I guess Marcy can be useful. Marcy's like, yeah, I'm going to fix Wartwood to get on everyone's good side. This is how to do it. And she makes a few improvements, like she fixes potholes and, makes lanterns with the candles. And Mayor Toadstool shows up and is like, I'm going to take you under my wing. We're going to fix this city. Earlier in the episode, Marcy mentions that, a little fun fact, that Wartwood is built on top of a swamp, and when it was built, the people somehow knew how much to build so that it wouldn't sink. That becomes important later. But anyway, Mayor Toadstool takes Marcy under his wing because he wants to make Wartwood a tourist attraction, and Marcy is capable of doing that. And it's real flashy. It looks a lot like Main Street USA in Disneyland, which I'm sure is deliberate since, this is a Disney show. Everything looks pretty cool, but then all of a sudden there's some rumbling, and then things start sinking because they built too much, and the town starts sinking because it was on a sinkhole, and Marcy's like, oh crap, I forgot about that. Marcy and Anne remove some stuff and fix everything, the town comes back up. Most episodes of Amphibia have some sort of lesson involved in them. The lesson of this one is, you can't force people to accept you, it'll take time. Everyone in Wartwood is like, yeah, we really don't like you right now, Marcy. But, when Anne first came here, all she did was cause problems, and we got to love her eventually, so the same can happen to you. So it kind of ends on a high note. Marcy's, running around town, fixing things with a hammer. It looks a lot like Fix-It Felix, which, again, is probably deliberate since it's Disney. One thing shown in this episode, which will become important later on, is that Marcy's unable to recognize bad plans. She's just like, yeah, this will be a great idea, this will be great. This will relate to the fact that, she's almost certainly a pawn of King Andreas, and, she's not realizing what he's having her do. The King's manipulation techniques, they worked on Marcy, they worked on Anne, but when Sasha enters the picture, because Sasha's also a master manipulator, I think she'll see right through him, and that'll be part of True Colors. But, Marcy's not a bad character for, having this problem, because, I like characters that are like this, that show, somewhat autistic traits, because I'm somewhere on the spectrum and I guess I can relate to these characters, and that's why I like them so much. Alright, on to Frobo. It opens up with Anne and Marcy and the planters. They're heading toward the seed store, and Polly's like, this is boring, and Marcy and Hop Pop are just gushing about seeds, and they rush into the store, and they kind of write their way out of the plot until the very end. Polly wants to cause mayhem, but Sprig and Anne are like, nah, we just want to be responsible. Polly messes up a bunch of seeds in front of the store and frames Anne and Sprig for it, and they're forced to clean up after her mess while she goes off and tries to cause mayhem by herself, but she's like, this isn't fun just with me. I'm too small. But then, lo and behold, Frobo is here. She finds him in the trash, and there's this cute sequence where Frobo copies Polly, and Frobo's just so adorable. Polly and Frobo cause some mayhem, but Frobo is accidentally destructive. He doesn't mean to cause all this damage, but he just does it anyway. There's one bit where he's, swinging from buildings like Donkey Kong, swinging on ropes, and I thought that was cute. There's the police that show up, and they're like, it's probably a giant octopus that did this. And the only reason I'm mentioning that is because there's that shot of a giant octopus attacking the planters and Anne in the trailer, which I think that just could be foreshadowing in this episode to a later episode this season. At the beginning, when Polly's trying to cause mayhem by herself, she jumps into the fountain near the statue of the town founder and only causes a little splash, and Polly's like, hey, Frobo, you can cause a big splash. And of course, the statue actually does get destroyed this time. Marcy isn't there to fix it. And the whole town gets flooded, and everyone hates Frobo. But Frobo senses that Polly's in danger, and his eyes go red. And as we all know, evil robots, their eyes are red, as we all know. He starts attacking everyone. Sprig and Anne show up, are like, what's going on? And they're like, oh, we'll stop Frobo. But Frobo easily overpowers them, and his eyes are like glowing red, and he's about to kill them. And Polly just stands in front of them like, "No, stop! This isn't you. You're good." And Polly's like, "Everything you did, I showed you how to do. Frobo's not evil. I am. Well, not evil, but you get the point." Eventually, Frobo like says Polly in some robot talk, and is like, "Sorry." And it's like, oh, why is he so cute? Marcy and Hop Pop show up and are like, "What was going on while we were in that store?" And Polly's like, "Can we keep Frobo?" And Hop Pop's like, no. But then there's that scene of Frobo planting flowers from the trailer, and Hop Pop's like, yes, we can keep him. Anne and Sprig are talking about the robot, and are talking about those ruins where the robot was found, and it's like, did that robot follow us all this time? And they're like, nah, there's no way that could happen. Yeah. That's it for this week's episodes. They're relatively minor, not its plot important. I think the same thing will be for next week's episodes before we get to the third temple on the 10th. I have to look at a calendar. So yeah, thanks for watching my latest Amphibia video. Stay tuned for next week.